Very much.
After more than 2 months trapped underground, the wait is almost over for those 33 Chilean miners. The first man is expected to be brought up through that rescue shaft to the surface in the early hours of tomorrow morning.
What a moment that will be of relief and joy. But after spending so long underground, how long will it take them to recover from their ordeal? Nigel Atkins is a caving instructor. Jennifer Wiles, a psychologist who specialises in post-traumatic stress disorder. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Nigel, you know what it's like to be trapped underground because it happened to you.
It did many years ago as a younger man, as I am now. I was going through a bedding plane, which is 2 beds of rock, feet first, going through the bedding plane, down a slot, another bedding plane, and I got myself wedged, as you do when you're trying to push for new caves. We could see the bigger passage beyond. And I got wedged, and what happens is panic sets in, and when you panic, you expand, and that's what happened to me. Fortunately, I was breathing, went more shallower as I was sort of taking in carbon dioxide. I was actually becoming more lethargic, but it actually saved me because my feet wiggled and actually moved my body because my body had now restricted. So that was a big learning curve for me, is don't panic, but try and tell that to somebody who's stuck.
Well, Jennifer, that's what the miners have been told since they've been under there. Don't panic and try to have a degree of calm. And they have, haven't they? Where is the challenge now as they start to be brought up?
The next hurdle is actually the rescue capsule. And as long as the miners can focus on anything but the physical sensations that are going on in their body, so if they have a racing heart or if they feel sweaty, if they can avoid focusing on that, then that will really help to reduce their anxiety.
It's a very confined space, isn't it, that they're going to have to get into, and they're going to be in there for about an hour and a quarter before they get to the surface.
They'll be in there for up to an hour and a quarter. It could actually be 20 minutes. But again, they need to focus on the fact that they're getting out, that it will soon be over, they'll be with their families again, and to avoid focusing on their racing heart. That will just increase their anxiety.
And then a whole load of issues for them to get used to when they do get out. First of all, one being daylight, of course.
Yes, it's quite a shock, I would imagine. I mean, underground, if you're on expedition, you're going to sleep in the dark and you're waking up in the dark. And I think what they've tried to do with the Chilean miners is accustomed to that, to try and keep that 24-hour clock in place.
Oh yes, they've used, I've heard, the special lights, haven't they?
Yes,
they've put down there to mimic natural sunlight, so it's not so bad when they come up. It's the psychological things as well, isn't it? Once they get through the actual being lifted up in the rescue shaft, when they're out in the open air and with their families again.
Exactly.
What would your advice be?
Well, potentially they're at risk of developing post-traumatic stress disorder. So in the first month after a horrific trauma like this, we would expect the miners to have unwanted, terrifying memories of their ordeal, to have hyperarousal symptoms such as feeling very overly alert or jumpy. And they may also have some avoidance symptoms, so they may actually feel very uncomfortable in enclosed spaces like a bathroom or an elevator. And that would be normal for the first 4 weeks if they had, a few of those symptoms. But if they had more and they lasted for longer than 4 weeks, that would indicate that they are indeed suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and that they would need a focused intervention such as cognitive behavioural therapy.
All right. Well, it's all going to happen around this time tomorrow. Thank you both very much.
We'll all be cheering, hopefully.
Yes,
we will.
Absolutely.
And you sort of hope that they're going to be protected when they come up as well, because there'll be so many people who want to buy their stories, and that these miners are on an average of £700 a month. There'll be people throwing money at them. It's going to be a very different life for them, isn't it?
It's going to be stressful, but they are actually going to have media training, and I think that will help to prepare them and also to reduce their stress in this situation.
Okay. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
And obviously it's happening in our time tomorrow, so we will have all the details live here on Breakfast As It Happens.
You've probably noticed